Hey, ambitious dentist, we have a fantastic episode for you today, and we're going to get into that real quick. But first, I want to let you know we've got a huge announcement at the end of today's episode. At the end of today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a way for you to be able to implement some of the top level tactics that you've heard over the past 25 episodes of the Start Your Dental Practice podcast. It's a really, really cool opportunity, and I'm really excited to be able to offer it to the ambitious dentists that are out there. So make sure you listen to the very end for that announcement. Hey, ambitious dentist, welcome to Start Your Dental Practice, the show for existing and aspiring dentists to take your dental practice to the highest possible level. I'm your host, Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV, founder of dentistmetrics.com. In every episode, we aim to demystify the how to start a dental practice problem by bringing on world-class dentists, influencers, and consultants in the dental industry to pick their brain about how to get past the barriers involved from going from no practice to being a practice owner to owning your own successful dental practice. When it comes to starting your dental practice, there are some important aspects that you just can't overlook, like finding the right location and hiring the right people. But so many dentists overlook a powerful aspect of the business that sets the framework for years to come: the culture. When you build a culture that customers are excited to be a part of, you create raving fans that are eager to tell others about their experiences, which makes it easy for them to share, whether through word of mouth or through social media. But before we dive deeper into that, here are a few things you're going to learn today. You're going to learn the importance of having a vision for both yourself and your team, how to promote your culture and core values within your practice. You're going to learn some tips for creating systems to train new employees more effectively and have consistency, how cross-training can prove to be valuable, especially when you're short-handed. You're also going to learn about the places where you can go and recruit talent where you normally wouldn't think to look, the best way to build a brand, how to generate 1,500% ROI using Facebook for your dental practice, and how to get testimonials that make others eager to come and see you. And at the end of this episode, you'll find out where you can get a bonus that shows you exactly how to get massive results in your business using Facebook. So be sure to listen all the way through this entire interview to get access to that. And now, here's my interview with Anissa Homes. Hello, ambitious dentists. Today, I have with us Dr. Anissa Homes. Dr. Homes was ranked as one of the top 25 women in dentistry by Dental Products Report. She is the founder of Jamaica Cosmetic Dental Services, and she is an ace at Facebook advertising for dentists. When you hear her story about how she uses Facebook in her dental practice to generate a 1,500 to 1 ROI, you're going to be pretty surprised about how she does that. So, Dr. Holmes, thank you so much for coming on today. And just full disclosure, everybody, I was on Dr. Holmes' podcast. She has a podcast as well that I should probably talk about in your introduction. And it's the Delivering Wow podcast that is for dentists and business owners alike. And she had me on the podcast, and she does the most phenomenal introduction of me. And even I told her before we started doing this that I was going to screw hers up somehow, and I forgot to talk about the podcast before I started segueing into her. So, Dr. Holmes, thank you for coming on. Sorry for a bad intro. Is there anything I missed in your intro? How would you have done that introduction?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Jonathan. I'm very grateful that you extended the invitation back. And no, you did a great job, so don't worry. No worries.
If I had a New Year's resolution, it's February, so I'm probably late on that as well. So it would be better in the introductions. I always pass it off to the other person because I feel so sensitive to the fact that I'm going to mess something up and forget to talk about, something that they've accomplished that my audience would really like to hear about. So Dr. Holmes, again, thank you for coming on. Dr. Holmes, you have a very unique story. You're practicing in Jamaica, which I know there's a bunch of people out there. Whenever you came on, I'm pretty sure I heard birds chirping in the background.
Right.
It's a nice 34 degrees outside here in Little Rock, Arkansas, something like that. and it's just been miserable. We've got, it's sinus season, and, everyone's sick with a cold, like half colds. Then the next day it'll be like 60 degrees here. So everyone, I'm sure is a little jealous of your location, but tell us how you got to today. How did you get into dentistry? Where did you go to school? And tell us a little bit about your story.
Absolutely. So I am actually originally from New Orleans. And I do live in Jamaica now. My husband is an oral surgeon. And so after finishing dental school, he said, I really want to move back home. I can make the biggest difference moving back home to Jamaica. He's one of 2 oral surgeons in the island. So we've been here for about 10 years now, and it's been absolutely great. And yes, the weather is great. Today's actually a holiday. Today's Ash Wednesday when we're recording. And so my son is actually at the beach with his friends. My husband's playing golf. So it's not a bad life, actually. But things are good. I actually have been a dentist now for about 16 years. And I went to dental school at the University of Alabama School of Dentistry. I finished in 1999. And just to give you a little bit about my story, I actually always knew that I wanted to be a doctor from very, very young. And it was actually when I was in college that I attended a program, a summer program where I was introduced to different areas of medicine. And this was also at the University of Alabama. And so I actually spent the summer working in a pediatric dental clinic there at the school. And after that summer, I said, wow, this is a really interesting profession. And especially for me as a female, I thought, this is really great because I can help people, and I can also have time to do other things in terms of have a family and be able to have, free time to be able to do other things that were important to me. And so I actually went to University of Southern Mississippi for undergrad, and I went there for actually 3 years, and I was accepted early into the dental program at UAB. And so I went there and I spent my time there, and I thought I would want to do pediatric dentistry after originally wanting to be a pediatrician and then going into dentistry. And once I was there, I really became passionate about making people look beautiful. And so my first crowns that I did were actually Empress crowns, and that was 16 years ago, or actually it was probably around 18 years ago now. And ever since, I've been doing lots of beautiful cosmetic dentistry, do lots of crowns and veneers and implants. And my dental practice here, we actually do all dental services, but that's what I'm really most passionate about. So I've been in Jamaica, like I said, for about 10 years. I had a practice originally in Birmingham for about 7 years. And then after that time, we decided to move here into Jamaica.
So did you own the practice in Birmingham?
I did, actually. So my story in terms of how I started, which is, I think, most interesting to the listeners of this particular show, I actually came out of dental school, and I worked in different types of practices. And, when you come out of school, you try to figure out, okay, where am I going to fit in? Where can I get a job? Am I going to do my own thing? Am I going to work for a group? And so I actually had different experiences. And my first practice was actually in a very high-paced practice. There were 3 doctors, and everything was all about making money, and it was all about revenue goals. But it actually was not about the quality of care. It was not about giving back to the community. It was all about, every day we need to try to make $5,000 or $10,000. And, to me, that really, although, making your revenue goals and being profitable is very important, the core really has to be, the patient, the experience that you give to them, and to me, giving back to the community. And so I actually lasted in that practice for about 2 months, and I said, you know what, this is just not the right place for me. And so I actually left that practice, and I joined up with another dentist. And that was really a great opportunity. I was an associate there, and he told me, he said, listen, I do lots of cosmetics, and you're going to have to learn, and you're going to have to understand that it's important to treat patients really well. And I was really fortunate because I learned a lot in that experience. I actually went to lots of CEs. He was really big into LVI, and I learned lots of things from Dr. Tom Orant, the Thousand Gems guy, who was really big into, giving great experiences for patients. And so we had the cookie maker in the office, and we did all of these things to really give the patient a really good experience. And, that was really my start. But after about a year, I said, you know what, I have a vision. And I have a vision for really creating something for myself. And so after about a year, I actually started my practice, and that was in Birmingham. And like I said, I had that practice for about 6 years before selling that practice, actually to a classmate or a friend of mine before moving to Jamaica.
Was that hard to, did you say you started the practice or you bought a practice?
I actually started that practice from scratch. So I started really with no patients at all, because it was in a different part of town. The practice that I worked in, that I really, I enjoyed working in, was in a different part of town. It was in an older part of town, and I wanted to be in the very trendy, fashionable part of town. And so my practice was actually in 5 Points South, which for people who know Birmingham is really the artistic part of the city, where all of the happenings are going on and all of the restaurants. And I was young, so I wanted to be where all of the young people were, and I wanted to be central. And to me, I thought that was really important, being very central, which was also really close to the dental school and really like in the heart of downtown. And that way I could draw patients from perhaps where I was working previously, but also from other areas surrounding that particular area.
So you've got a really interesting story that you've owned more than one practice. You've owned one and you did a startup, and you're actually also also in Jamaica. So you've got two really unique stories there that I don't know if I'll be able to get all of my questions out in the amount of time we have allotted today. So I want to start with the Birmingham one, because I have a feeling we can get a lot of really good experiences from you out of that one versus going to Jamaica, because I bet you had a lot that. It's almost probably like a tale of two cities type thing, where you have one where you did it one way, and then the next time that you did it, you knew that was the better way to do it. Is that about right?
Absolutely.
So can you give me an idea then, in your Birmingham experience, what's something that you felt like whenever you were doing it, you were just doing it because you knew it had to be done, but you didn't know exactly how to do it, that when you did it in Jamaica, you did it differently or better? Is there anything you have specifically?
Right, I can actually give you a really good example. And I think this happens a lot for dentists, not just young dentists, but all dentists. And that for the most part, I would say that people who come out of dental school, they really are great people, and they really want to do the right thing. They want to give really good service. However, what happens is that people think that if you just give good service and you treat people right, then the patients will come. And what I have learned over the years of growing that practice and having the success that I have now is that really what you can do is you can actually design to have an amazing practice. And so you don't have to take the long, slow and steady route. And so things that I was doing before, for example, we were baking cookies and we were treating people nicely. But now in my practice, the whole culture is about delivering well. And so we have, headphones and iPads to take away the sound. I sent all of my dental assistants to be certified in massage therapy. And so now every single one of them can offer a complimentary arm massage before a patient has their cleaning or while they're numbing before their procedure. And, we've scripted out how we answer the phones, and everything in our business is about delivering well. And at the end of it, the result is that our patients will actually be raving fans, and they will actually grow our business for us. And so my approach has really changed, because it's more than just saying, well, if you're nice to people and you do good dentistry, then your business will grow, and it will grow. However, you can actually be quite strategic and putting in systems to ensure that your practice has amazing results, and it can happen very quickly.
So whenever you were in Birmingham, can you give me an example of something that you didn't do that if you were back there now you would have done? that you do? Like is it just like massages and things like that, or what processes would you have used to be able to build faster? Speaking directly to yourself as a young dental owner in Birmingham, Alabama.
Right. I can tell you, back then I didn't understand the importance of really thinking really big and really deciding and creating a vision of where I wanted my practice to be. And, as I have grown and matured, and I've learned and I've studied and, I've really realized the importance of having a vision, and not only having a vision for yourself, but inspiring your team to have a vision for themselves. And so, at that time, like I said, it was just like, treat your team well, and, hopefully they will help you out to achieve the goals. But now what's happened is that, I say, guys, my team we've all done vision boards. And for those of you who don't know what vision boards are, basically you create a chart, a drawing where you can actually put pictures that you cut and paste from magazines or off of the internet of places that you want to go, things that you want to achieve. And so, I've done that, and I did it with my team. And so what I told my team is that, guys, listen, this practice is how you're going to have the income to be able to achieve all of your personal goals. And, that's something that I really didn't know, the importance of having a vision. Where do you want to be in a year for your, with your practice? Where do you want to be in a year personally? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Perhaps what will your business look like when it's finished? Will you have one location? Will you have multiple locations? Will you have an associate? And so once you have a vision, then you can start to really write down the steps, the action steps to ensure that you achieve it.
So did you have anybody that whenever you were trying to talk to them about doing a vision board, because, and I say this a lot on the podcast, before I was a business owner, I'm a CPA, so I'm very, pragmatic. I'm like X's and O's. It's either yes or no a lot of the times. And so I was not like into the metaphysical or, the self introspective type things, the things that some people would call like soft or fluffy.
Right.
As I became a business owner, I realized just how important those types of things are. And I know a lot of listeners probably think like a vision board, that sounds really, soft and fluffy. Did you have any employees that were just like, really, you're going to have us do a vision board? That's more for my benefit. But did that happen, or how did you explain to them, the power of that? Because like I said, before I owned a business, if somebody told me to do a vision board when I was at work, I'd been like, you're smoking something. So how did you get your team to buy in to that philosophy?
Right. Well, for me, again, it was about really, letting the team know of what the vision was for the business. And, my vision for my business was to be the number one dental practice in Jamaica. And this, this is speaking from now when we did the vision boards, which I didn't do that back then. The vision was to be the number one business in the country known for delivering well. And that was the vision. And so, who did we have to be? What did we have to do to ensure that we achieved it? And so, part of that was, what sort of team do I need to have to be able to achieve that goal? And so I was really clear, and I was a really strong leader. And I, basically said to my team, guys, there are some people that, this may not be the right place for you going forward, because this is the vision, this is my dream, and I want you guys to be part of it. And for those of you who are part of it, you will be rewarded. You will see all of the benefits. But, for some people, maybe this is not the right practice for you, and that's okay. And I say, I'm not going to be upset or anything like that, but I want to make sure we have the right people who can help us get there. And I think we lost maybe one person who was like, oh gosh, this is just going to be too much work, But the rest of the team, they stayed with me, and that's been several years now, and they're achieving their personal dreams now, which is really, really nice to see.
Super fulfilling to have people that depend on you, whether it be patients or employees, to be able to do the things that they do. Because I as a digital accounting firm, I have an office, a fairly large office, and I don't have, and I have room for people to be able to work here, but all of my employees actually work from home. So there's a remote ability from them. And so I have stay-at-home moms that are able to have, really good paying jobs, but they're still able to be, able to see their kids a lot, be able to help, be a part of the family, do a lot of things that they'd want to be able to do. And like you said, it's really, really fulfilling to be able to see people do the things that they want to do. I really like the fact that you use that as a tool to bring everybody on the same path. Lots and lots of practices have a lot of problems with understanding how to lead a team. And I think that, while if you think of it in the terms of, doing like something like specific, like a vision board, that can seem fluffy, but in reality, that's a very strong tool to bring everybody closer together, because if you communicate what you're wanting, then they can then jump on board or jump off the ship, so to speak, with like the person that you had that quit. So I really, really like that. So, okay. So move us into, you sold your practice to an old classmate. You go into Jamaica, you've created a vision of being the best dental practice in Jamaica that delivers the best experience. You've got the team on board at this point. What are some of the other hurdles that kind of came up in the process in Jamaica of trying to get everybody on board and trying to actually fulfill this dream of yours?
Right. So to me, what I always say is it starts with putting your culture in place. And so that vision board and having your vision is really the very beginning. So, you start with having that vision and then writing out your core values. What is it that you stand for? And, a few of ours are build stronger communities. And so we put in things like every month we donate to a different charity. Another core value that we have is pursue growth and learning. And so all of my team members actually have Kindles, and I send them books, and we discuss the books, and we have weekly lunch and learns. And, there are other really great core values as well, but that's really how we make all of our decisions. And so if something is not working, then we say, is this in line with our core values? And if it's not, then it's just not gonna work for the business. So it was really deciding on the culture and looking at our vision. And then the next step, which is really important, is putting in systems, and systems for everything, creating office manuals, so that if I have a dental assistant that for some reason decides that she's not going to work there anymore, maybe perhaps she's moving to a different area and I have to get another dental assistant, there will be consistency. And so our manuals, for example, for dental assisting, it has pictures of all of our setups. It has links to all of the videos that they need to watch on YouTube about the procedures that we do. It has links to our dental practice management software's website, which has training videos of how to chart properly in our software. And so there's consistency for scripts. So the sequence of what must be done during a patient visit. And, that took a lot of time, and it was not really me doing it, which I think is very important as well, because a lot of dentists think, especially, young dentists, well, all dentists think that they have to do everything themselves. But once you can start first with getting that team and they buy into the vision, then what happens is that they start to do these things for you. And so the manuals were not done by me. I said, guys, listen, we need to have consistency. So they didn't feel threatened when I asked them to write down everything that they have to do. They understood why. And so we created manuals. We have key performance indicators, meaning, everything is written down, the checklist of what you must do every morning, every afternoon, what must be done weekly, what must be done monthly. And we put that up in terms of, we put that in a schedule or a calendar. We have that posted in the office. We had a lot of systems to put in place, and it took us a long time. It wasn't done in 1 month. Every month we'd say, okay, we're going to do this manual. And so I think that was a really big thing as well, putting in systems. And then once we're able to get some really amazing systems, then we had consistency, and then we were able to put in scripts, and then we were able to, really get the results. And then it was time to develop the brand.
Very, very neat. I think that's a really good idea. If you were going back now, or let me rephrase that.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're built, when you like you said, you built a team, we have a lot of practices that come on and they've acquired a practice at some point in time. Do you feel like it's easier to build a team from scratch, or is it easier to have a team and then alter that team to be what you need them to be if you acquire a practice? Basically, if you acquire a practice and you have a team that's already there, would you think that personally would be something more difficult to get to be in line with what your goal is, or do you think that would be easier to do as a startup?
Not necessarily, because what happens is that sometimes the team is working for a previous dentist that perhaps was not making going to work fun. And, they see you coming in and you have lots of ideas that will benefit them. So putting in things like lunch and learns, lots of team members, they want to learn. They want to be able to go to a continuing education. They want to be able to have, bonuses if the business is profitable. And so perhaps that previous dentist was not, really inspiring them. And you can come in and you can get them really excited and they can buy into what you really, see for the practice. And so I don't think it's necessary that you have to, wipe the slate clean. But like I said before, there are some times when even joining an existing practice or buying a practice, that there are people who just, are not willing to change and they just want to go and collect a paycheck. And you really don't want to have those people on the team. And so it's very difficult because sometimes you're like, okay, but I need to have that person answering the phone at the front desk. What am I going to do? Because I know they're not the right person, but I need somebody, And so, once you have other people, other players who are buying into the vision, then they will actually rally around you. And there have been times when, I've been short at the front desk because, like I said, when that lady had to go or decided to go, when we changed, everybody else just kind of, jumped in, which is also the importance of really cross-training. And you can do that before you start letting people go. So the people who are great, you can get them cross-trained to understand how to work at the front desk, and you can have your front desk ladies learn how to assist, really get everybody to know how to do everything. And then once you have that in place, then it'll be a little bit easier to start letting people go. And then always be looking, for great people, and great people may not be in the dental industry. Maybe you're going to a great restaurant, or you go to, a clothing store and you see somebody who has a fantastic attitude and, they're saying, well, what about this dress? This would make you so amazing. And, just giving you this really nice tips, and, or maybe you shouldn't buy this one because, this one is too expensive, or whatever it's going to be, somebody who's really great, and then you can connect with that person and have them come in as well.
I really like that idea. Go and find talent whenever they may not know that you are looking for talent. I think that's a smart idea. So you mentioned before that to speak to cross-training, if you document everything like you talked about as well, it's a whole lot easier to cross-train somebody when they have documents to look at, rather than you having to sit down with them and say, no, this is how we talk to someone on the phone, or no, this is what we say when they ask if we take their insurance, or, all those other things. So it serves a really strong dual purpose. So I like that that's how you started out. So you then said that you went to focusing on building your brand. How did you come up with the brand, and then how did you go and build it?
Right. So just to sort of be clear and let everybody know, culture, which I spoke about before, culture is really the story that you want to tell. And brand is really what people say about you when you're not around. And, in terms of building the brand, I wanted to ensure that what people were saying about me or the practice was that, wow, that's the first thing that I wanted to come out of their mouth. Wow, the experience, the customer service, the experience, to me, that was the thing. And so we looked at how we can build our brand, and a lot of it comes from inside of the practice. We've done things like, ask patients for video testimonials. We do that all the time. And if we have a patient, and part of our process of systemization is actually asking our patients. So the hygienist will say, how was your experience today? And that's part of our scripting. And so we know if we have to ask that question, then we have to have made sure that they had a great experience. And so she will ask, I will come in and I'll say, how was your experience today? And, they're like, wow, it was the best cleaning ever. and I kind of massage. And then by the time they get to the front desk, who actually does the video testimonials, how's it today? How was everything today? One, they're thinking, wow, these people really care about my experience. And then they're like ready to say, it was great. I got a massage. You saw me right on time. And then we'll say, okay, do you mind if we just take a quick video so we can share with people who are looking for a dentist? And so we have so many video testimonials. It's on our YouTube channel, and we use them a lot in social media. And so having the patients who are actually going through the experience actually share their stories, to me, is the best way of building the brand. So I can tell you I'm great, or that you'll have a great experience, or that you'll get a more beautiful smile, but it's even more powerful when it comes from our existing patients.
I love that. I love the testimonial aspect. Those are great things to be able to put out on pretty much, pretty much any type of marketing, because whenever you're looking for a new provider and you're trying to figure out, is this the right person for me? You know, being able to see someone say, like, I've had such a good day today. Like this has been such a good, experience, and you can truly tell they're being truthful about it. It goes a whole lot more than to see on a website a quote that says it was great, and then end quote, and then a name, or even just to say, we've tried really hard to make things really nice for you, and then that's all you get. So I really like the fact that you're using the patients to spread that message for you. So so you use scripts and processes to kind of mine those responses, is what it sounds like. Is it, what other type?
No, I was just going to say, it's really more just making sure they have a great experience. And then, they say whatever they feel, So last week, I had a patient. I was actually looking on Facebook, and I was actually at home that day, and my team actually posted it. And the patient's like, my teeth feel like they had a manicure and a pedicure. I'm just like, oh my goodness, So it's those sort of things, or, somebody's looking through our culture book. We have a culture book that has, pictures of things we're doing in the community and before and after pictures. And she's like, my teeth are, she's in her testimony, my teeth made the magazine. And, this place is the best thing since sliced bread, So it's like those sort of things. And we share them on we have them on our website, on our first page of our website. And we share them on Facebook. And once we do that, it goes viral, right? So Facebook is a huge, huge way that we've really been able to spread our brand and get it very targeted to people who will actually come in and become new patients.
Very neat. So how do you use Facebook? Because I would say maybe 5% of the people I speak with in the dental industry believe that Facebook is a possible avenue for marketing for a dental practice. Right. And I would say probably 1% I've heard have had success with Facebook advertising. And it's typically they have like one specific thing they're trying to get across to people, like implants or dentures or some specific type of promotion. I mean, I hear a lot about the engagement aspect from like what's the company, My Social Practice. They have those signs that they send out every month, and people get pictures with those and things like that. But how do you produce an ROI out of a social website like Facebook?
Right, absolutely. So I've had some tremendous success with Facebook, and for those of you who know or don't know, we actually have about 48,000 people that are following my page now, and this has been one like at a time. And I can tell you, Facebook has been the #1 strategy that we have used to really grow our practice. And along the way, I've used many different strategies. I've used Valpak coupons, which I used a lot of when I was in Birmingham, which does actually have a little bit of a targeted strategy, because you're targeting people who live within your community. And I've used yellow pages in the past, and I put ads in newspapers. I've done lots of different things, but to me, what has been the most effective and beneficial thing about Facebook is the targeted marketing strategy. And so what that means is that, for example, if I am doing a post about a back to school special, the great thing is that I can target people who, if I were in the States, I'll say this, who live within a certain zip code. I can target mothers. I can target mothers who have kids between a certain age. I can target by educational status of the parents if I want to. I can get very specific. And so if you're using Facebook as a marketing strategy, which means that you are using it to grow your practice as a tool and you're actually putting money into it, it's really important, and not just for Facebook, but all forms of marketing, that when you spend money, that it gets seen by the people that you want to see it. And so, for example, that particular ad for a back to school special, I wouldn't necessarily want that ad to be seen by people who have no kids or people who have kids who are adults. That doesn't make any sense. And so if I were to put that ad in, for example, Yellow Pages, for example, I'm going to be spending money, but it's going to get to, I'm hoping that my target will see it. Same thing with a newspaper, but with Facebook, you can really target it, and you can do things like, please share, and then you'll put the offer. And so what happens is that people start to share your offer with their Facebook friends, and people are on Facebook. Many people are on Facebook. The people that are in my target audience are on Facebook several times a day. And so, perhaps they're not thinking about taking their kid to the school to go to the dentist, and they're not reading the newspaper, but this thing pops up and they get a special. And so they say, okay, well, you know what, let me just go. And it's really, really great. And I think that's the really great thing. But what I always tell people is that before you start promoting things, you really want to really share your story, your culture, because that's why people will follow you. Some people, yes, they want a good deal. But when people are on social media, they're there because, it's been the end of a long day, or perhaps they're trying to really zone away from work. And so they're on social media just to kind of relax their mind. And so they don't want to see gory pictures of teeth. They don't want to see x-rays. I mean, nobody's interested in that, really. The most engaging posts that I have had are pictures, for example, with social signs of us, with the patient, or out in the community giving back, or us, at a children's home really making a difference. Those are the things that people want to see. Us being silly. I mean, we had a flossing campaign, and we actually made a video of the team, and we're like dancing to a soca song, and we're like floss like a boss, and it's fun, and that's the sort of things that people like, and they share and they comment on it. And also pictures of us really showing all of the amazing wow experiences that you have. So pictures of patients receiving the hand and arm massage. And so that makes people interested. That makes people like your page. That makes people comment on your posts. And then that way, once you really connect with people and they feel like you are actually their friend, then at that point, it's very, very easy to say, okay, I have something that I'm offering now. Here's a promotion. Here's your opportunity to come in at a great price. And people come in, and like I said, we have about 40 new patients that come in every month. And you are asking about, how do I calculate the ROI on social media? Well, this is how it happens. What we do is, on average, we have about 40 new patients that come from Facebook. Now, I do put money into Facebook. So I spend about $500 a month on Facebook ads, and that really targets different groups. I have one that's going on that's being seen in the feeds of people who do not follow my page, which helps to increase the likes, and it's for people who are engaged, and it's for teeth whitening. And so we have something that's being seen in feeds of people who are engaged between a certain age, who live within a certain distance from the office. And so that brings in people for teeth whitening and also increases the likes. But in terms of the ROI, what happens for that specific example, like we said, we get a $1,500. We spend on average $500 a month. But what happens, how we calculate the ROI, is that if we have 40 new patients coming in every month, which is what we tend to have from these Facebook ads, and the patient is spending $200 on their first visit, okay? And this is for, cleaning, x-rays, etc. That calculates actually as a return on that investment that we spent of $500 of an $8,000 return, right?
That's a really good return.
Right. So, I mean, that's great. And I mean, there's a recent campaign that we did And I actually created a guide for this for your listeners, where we actually did a campaign 2 weeks ago, 7,000% ROI. And so in the guide that you'll be able to share with your listeners, it shows pictures of that campaign and what is targeted marketing and how we were able to achieve that. And it shows the type of post. And basically it was, saying, had pictures of our coffee and tea bar. We serve freshly baked plantain tarts, and it had pictures of the operatory with the iPads. And we said, do you want to experience, Jamaica Cosmetic Dental Services, and it talks about our guarantee. We guarantee that you'll be seen on time. We guarantee that you have an amazing experience. We guarantee the quality and consistency of your dental work. And before that, we said, please share. And this post got shared, hundreds of times, and it had thousands of likes. And just that campaign alone, the ROI, when we calculated it, it was about 7,000. And I think we spent about $50 to boost that post. And we boosted it just from that particular post. And, that maybe people say, oh, $50 on one post. But if you get that sort of return, it's definitely worth it.
Hey, if it's working, spend the money on it is what I say. So let's pull back for a second. If you were talking to someone that had recently started a practice or had recently is just now owning a practice, and let's say they don't have a Facebook page set up first, would you spend more time, energy, and effort on building more likes for your Facebook page, or would you spend more effort in trying to spend money on advertising on promoted posts to be able to get offers out into the public? So, and for the listeners out there, maybe you can explain a little bit what the differences in those two approaches are for them.
Right. So for me, what I would recommend is, first get your culture right. What story are you trying to tell before you start really trying to promote your brand? You need to make sure your systems are in place. So to me, that's important. But also you're trying to obviously grow your practice at the same time. You need patience, right? And so to me, really all of the things that you're doing, and people are interested in what you're doing, even if you're a new practice, you're putting up pictures, you're excited, right? So you have this great operatory, you just bought, a new curing light, and you're excited about it. And, there are features of this light that can help patients. Put those posts up there. So as you're growing and building your culture, let people sort of grow and get to know you along the way. And I think that creates that sort of connection and that engagement. And you say, we're so excited, we just opened, and we can offer you all of these great things. Come and see us. And people will. They will, because they'll like you. So don't get too technical. Don't put too many pictures. I do put pictures of before and afters of some of the dental work that we've done. But people like to watch you and see what you're doing. And once you do that, you'll get fans and you'll get followers. And then in terms of building and growing your audience, you definitely want to be, if you're putting something out there that you think is very interesting, put $3 on it and boost it to people who are in your zip code and who are in your target age group. And that way it will show up in their feeds. And so they'll be following you. And like I said, you can put new patient special. We're growing our practice. Please come and try us out. We guarantee you an amazing experience. And give them, the same offer that perhaps you would give in another form of advertising. And you're really, again, we're spending $10 on this. So you can perhaps afford to give them a little bit of a discount in coming in. And that's really, how much you're spending to acquire that new patient.
Okay, that all makes a lot of sense. So, so you said that you're gonna give in this free guide the ad that did 7,000 to 1. You're gonna show the images. You're gonna show all the different things that were a success for your practice. That's very generous of you to give. So we're really thankful of that. Tell us a little bit. We're running out of time. I just realized we're a little bit over time. So tell me real quick. I always like to ask all the great doctors out there, if they were going to be starting a practice today, knowing all the things that they knew today, and you didn't own the practice you own right now, what would you do to start a practice today that took you a long time to figure out originally?
Right. I would say the most important thing, and I spoke about that before, is really just create that vision. And once you have that vision, everything has to fall in line. What sort of dentist will you have to be? What sort of services will you have to provide? What sort of team will you have to have? What sort of facility will you have to have? And to me, creating that vision is really the ultimate goal. And all these other things are the ways that you will get there. So create that vision is very, very important. And by having that, and you put it out there and you write it down, you're going to achieve it a lot faster.
Absolutely. It makes so much sense. It's something, like I said, at the beginning of it, I was talking about the kind of the fluffy stuff, but if you think about it in reality term, you started with that vision board. And if you think where your successes, a lot of your successes came from is your Facebook followers are people that have seen your culture. They've been attracted to it. So they're going to come into your practice, and they're going to be people that are attracted to the things that you've created. So they're going to be better patients for you. They're going to be people that are more likely to spread your message, to attract more people just like them. And it's really allowed, that central core focus has really allowed you to grow as a practice. So I absolutely love that. So guys, if you want to hear more about delivering wow, I urge you to go out and listen to Dr. Holmes' podcast, Delivering Wow. It's on iTunes. I believe it was episode number 9. It had a really interesting discussion with myself. So I thought it was a really good episode. We did a good job on that one. So
It was a great.
So go out there and listen to it. Subscribe. I fully sign off on it. Dr. Holmes, thank you so much for joining us today. If anyone out there wants to get in contact with you to have any other types of questions or be able to follow what you're doing, what's a good way for them to be able to do that?
Right. So people can actually go to my website, which is deliveringwell.com. And actually through there, people have an opportunity to join a free online mastermind. So they can do that, or you can send me an email at connect@deliveringwell.com. And I love having questions come to me, and that way I can answer them either through a blog post or on the podcast as well. So that's another great way to reach out with me.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on. We'll hope you have a great day.
Nice. Take care.
A special thanks to Dr. Holmes for being on the show and providing such incredible insight on building company culture and brand. As you heard, the key to promoting your business is having a compelling story to promote. Once you have that, then you can look at how to promote. As a bonus for today, you can download the Facebook Targeting Guide to ramp up your Facebook presence and attract new customers. Dr. Holmes is graciously giving us this valuable resource that you can literally just look at and plug and play into your practice. So to get that bonus, simply text practice to 33444. Again, that's practice to 33444, or visit startyourdentalpractice.com/bonus if you're outside of the US. You'll also receive updates on the latest episodes of Start Your Dental Practice, helpful tips for owning and running a practice, and promotional opportunities direct to your inbox. Hey guys, it's time for that big announcement. So, what do Dr. Mark Costas, Dr. Tuan Pham, Dr. Chris Phelps, Dr. Bill Williams, and a number of other top-level dentists who have been on the Start Your Dental Practice podcast have in common? Give up? It is that they are a part of masterminds. So a mastermind, if you're not certain of what that is, a mastermind is a group of your peers where you can go and be completely open about what is going on in your life, in your practice, your business, and open up to them, get feedback from people that are sitting in the same type of seat that you are in right now, and get past whatever you're in your life. Have a group around you to be able to help you get past things. We're not talking about a local study club type deal where you go and you learn about some clinical things. We're talking about the business stuff that's really hard to get past on your own. Now, you could go onto an online forum and type a 200-word question that somewhat portrays what you're going through, or you can sit down with 5 of your peers and sit down and actually say what is going on and find out what they're doing to combat those things, because I'll tell you guys, I see it time and time again. All dental practices face similar problems. And you will have a different perspective from where you're sitting versus where they are sitting. And it's very, very powerful for you to be able to have someone sitting across the aisle from you to say, this is what we did because we saw that same exact thing. Or have you tried this? Have you tried that? You'll get so many more perspectives by having those people around. And so that is what today's big announcement is that we are launching the Ambitious Dentist Mastermind, which I am super excited to be offering to the Start Your Dental Practice community. Now, this is not a mastermind for everybody. You have to be willing to open up to people that are across the country. You have to be willing to give feedback to other people of what you feel like is working and what isn't working in your practice. And you also have to commit to being a part of this community for a specific amount of time. Because if you join and don't contribute and don't give your full attention for the amount of time required, you are going to hurt the group. Your input will be lost, and all of the other people involved with the mastermind will be hurt by that. So you have to be willing to give us a certain amount of time. If you want to know more about this mastermind and how to apply, then you can go to startyourdentalpractice.com/mastermind. That's startyourdentalpractice.com/mastermind to apply to get in. Now, guys, we have hundreds of people that listen to this podcast every week, and I have a pretty wide reach. So I have a feeling this is going to fill up very fast. We're only going to open one mastermind this session, this quarter, and there's only going to be allowed 6 people. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that are going to be allowed in. It's going to be a pretty specific vetting process. There's an application, and then there's actually going to be an interview with me to make sure that you're going to be a good match for this group. And once you get in, there's going to be some more to learn about, a lot of more benefits. We're going to have a lot of guests, some of the past members of the Start Your Dental Practice podcast interviewees coming in for one-on-one sessions, a lot of really cool stuff. So if you're interested in that, guys, again, go to startyourdentalpractice.com/mastermind. There is geographic exclusivity, so we're not going to allow people in from the same areas because we don't want people stealing other people's ideas or competitive people holding back because they're scared someone else may give them the best nuggets of information. So again, guys, this is a very limited time offer. There's going to be a short window to get in. So if you're interested in applying, then go to startyourdentalpractice.com/mastermind, where you can learn more about this mastermind as well as apply and then start the interview process. Thanks, guys. So that's it for today's episode, but that doesn't mean that the learning and implementation have to stop there. I've created a free report called The 15 Numbers That Will Make or Break Your Dental Practice. This report has been downloaded over 1,000 times by dental professionals. So if you want your free copy of this report that's going to outline what the most important numbers are in any dental practice, and it also includes how to look at your numbers, how to set goals, has a whole slew of really important information that is the culmination of all of my experience as a dental CPA, then just go to startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. That is startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. And so that's it for today, Ambitious Dentist. Again, I'm Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV. I'll see you next week with another world-class practice owner or consultant that will help you start your very own dental practice. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Start Your Dental Practice community. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do me a favor and go to startyourdentalpractice.com/iTunes to leave your honest feedback and review on iTunes. It's going to help me create a better experience, a better show, a better podcast for you, the ambitious dentist. Your feedback really does help, regardless if you like the show today or not. If you didn't like the show, let me know, because it's going to help me create a better show and podcast for you. Lastly, if you know of anybody that would benefit from today's episode and today's content, today's guest, please feel free to share with them on social media or through email.